Alright, here's my Husqvarna mower. This is the one I fixed the carburetor on. People said, oh, you're going to have all kinds of problems if you do that. It's not going to work. You're going to have gas in your oil. I haven't had a drop of gas in my oil. And this is the first start after setting all of winter 2024 into 2025. It is now March 31st, 2025. Absolutely no problems. Enjoy. Hey guys, I don't know if I ever did a review on my Husqvarna lawn tractor. It's the YTH18542. It has the Briggs & Stratton intake 18.5 540cc engine and 2.5 gallon tank. I just wanted to point out, I don't know why all this here black stuff is growing on it. I mean, I've washed it and cleaned it and polished it and everything else, and it just comes right back, especially on the gas tank. I washed it yesterday and it's just horrible. But anyway, it comes back. So far I've been pleased with the lawnmower. The only problem I've really had up until now is the deck shakes like a madman. Grass catcher didn't come with it. I've had that for a long time. Kind of fits most riding mowers in my opinion. But anyway, the other day my stepson, he was back there and he was throwing across the fence, throwing some limbs from the bushes over there, and he left the mower running. And you know, if you leave this on, you get off of it. You know, if you leave the blade on, you get off of it, it cuts off. And he turned it off. And on this mower, it has the setting on the ignition where you can put it where you can back up with it with the blade on. Otherwise, you have to turn the blade off to back up. But this one here lets you back up. But sorry, sinuses is driving me nuts today. The mower shut off on him while he was across the fence throwing some limbs in the woods. So we tried to figure out what was wrong with it. We thought maybe the seat switch was bad because there's a switch right there in the seat. I messed with it. It seemed to be working fine. What would happen is when you turn the key, it would act like it wanted to crank, and it would fire and it would shut off, just immediately shut off. I'm like, that's weird, it's like it's not getting any gas. So I took the gas tank off, cleared the gas tank, cleared the gas line. It has a vacuum hose up top there, like a PVC valve. It was actually stuck. I don't know if you can see that right there. It was actually stuck, and I cleaned it out and got it working again, and it still wouldn't run. So what I did was I took the carburetor off and I cleaned the carburetor really good, and that's the serial number and all that heavy stuff. But I cleaned it really good with carb cleaner and everything, and then I figured out this doohickey here isn't supposed to move. So something happened to this. This is what they call the fuel solenoid, and it has a little pin that when you turn the key, an electromagnet opens it up and allows the gas to go into the carburetor. It's an anti-flood mechanism of some sort. Anyway, it's hard to find this particular one for this mower because it has a little seat on the end of the pin. Other ones have just a pin that goes straight up in there with a point. Some of them even have like a little flat piece on the bottom. But this one here has a little seat that goes on it, and I couldn't find one that wasn't $40 to $100. Why that little piece would be that much, I don't know. I could get it from China for $8 or $9, but I didn't want to wait a month to a month and a half to get it, if at all. So I did some research and I found out that that little pin that goes up in there, anti-flood mechanism, you can cut it off and it will let the gas through. And after I cut that little pin off, it worked fine, cranked right up immediately. So you know what, let me take that off and I will show you what I'm talking about, okay? Give me a minute. Okay, this is the little doohickey here I was talking about. Is that pin there, I cut it off with the Dremel. It actually goes in and out, and it's like a little electromagnet right there. And these things have been around for decades. I don't even know why they even try to get as much money for them as they do. I mean, they're in everything. They're in washing machines, they're in dishwashers, they're in refrigerators. They're just different sizes. But anyway, there's a little wire. This wire right here plugs in right there, and when you turn the key, it activates that magnet and it pulls that little pin down. Well, I just cut that little pin off and it fixed the problem. Immediately cranked right up, because it goes up in that little hole right there to help it to let it have gas into the carburetor. And this here just fits right through the bottom of the bowl like that, and you just turn it, tighten it up. It tighten that nut right there on there. That's just a 12mm bolt, a nut rather. Anyway, there it goes. And see how that turns the nut? That's the way it's supposed to do. But when it gets tighter, now I didn't do that, it was already like that, but when it gets tighter, see how it slips? It's not supposed to do that. And that's how I figured out that was probably what the problem was. But anyway, yeah, like I said, it's just a little 12mm nut that's on there. Sorry about the sunlight, it's blinding you. But once you get it back on there and tightened up, you just hook that up. Well, I plug it in. It don't do no good. If you want to know if this is working or not, you have it plugged in. Turn the key and listen, and you'll hear it click. It'll pull that little thing down like that, and you'll hear the click. If you don't hear that click, then it's bad. So if you're having an issue where your lawnmower will turn over with the key, but it won't crank, chances are that's what the problem is. Now, if it won't turn over at all, that's because one of your switches, like you have this engaged. If your brake's not on, it won't turn over at all. If you're not sitting in the seat when the blade is engaged, it won't turn on. It won't. I guarantee it won't crank at all. So yeah, if it's one of the safety switches, it won't even turn over. So you don't have to worry about those. But if it'll turn over, and it might pop the first time like it wants to crank, and then it shuts off, then it's this thing right here. And if it's not that, you could have a clogged fuel filter, something like that, but more than likely it's this little doohickey right here. It's the fuel solenoid. So you can cut it off like that, or you can go and buy a new one and replace it. It's really easy. Like I said, it's just a 12mm wrench, and it has to be a skinny one. If it's not a skinny one, it's not going to fit in that little gap, okay? And it's a pain in the behind to get in there to tighten it up. So see how I'm having to do it here. You can take this off if you want and get to it easier. But once you get it tight like that, don't over tighten it, because if you do, you strip it. Once you get it tight, you're good to go. And I disconnected the fuel line so that see the gas coming out. I just disconnected that so I didn't have to clamp off. You can clamp off the gas line or whatever you want, but it was just easier for me to take it loose, because I didn't have a pair of vice grips on me at the time. But that's all there is to it. So I hope this helped you out like it helped me out when I found out. I just want to spread the word. There's a lot of people out there talking about this thing here, and this is, like I said, the Husqvarna YTH18542 lawnmower with the intake 18.5. If you have a fuel solenoid, check it. Alright, if this video was helpful to you, leave me a thumbs up. If you have any questions, leave them in the comments below. And I hope you have a great day and happy grass cutting.